Good evening and welcome to Games Aperitif with Lyndon Richardson. War. War is like a refrigerator. It consumes everything it touches, rendering it cold and desolate. Eternally it looms over human life, knowing always that eventually its time will come. No matter how content humankind may think itself, the hunger will always return. Total War Warhammer is a strategy game where orcs, dwarves and demons make war on every possible scale, from the planetary strategy map to these two goblins fighting like two drunken politicians over a bribe. The first game launched in 2016 with a ridiculous scope of content, and it's only gotten more ridiculous from there. Most strategy games give the player a range of game mechanics like infantry, cavalry and archers. Total War Warhammer gives the player almost as much variety in one race as other games do in an entire game, and they gave us 4 races. And then they added 5 more. And then they made another game with 4 more races. And then they added 2 more races to that, and then they smushed both games together into one big mega game. And now they're making a third game that they're going to smush together with the other 2. Eventually everything, all art, history, culture, and even a mother's love for her child, all of these things will be made available as Total War Warhammer DLC. Many video games give you zombies, pirates, or giant enemy crabs. Total War Warhammer laughs at these games and gives you zombie pirates on giant enemy crabs. You want RPG mechanics? How about legendary lords with huge skill trees and epic items you can get on quests? This guy starts out as a dragon ogre the size of a house at level 1. In the world of Total War Warhammer, everything has been turned into war. This goblin has literally learned how to eat war. Look at this elven wizard, he's weaponized the sneer and learned how to make war with his very expression. Even these trailers are awe-inspiring. Untold numbers watch Nintendo Directs, never daring to dream of trailers this good. These guys make better trailers for a $10 DLC than The Last of Us ever made for a whole game. Warhammer is famously a world in which basically everyone is badass. Yet the craft of these games is such that it allows everyone to look like a badass without making them just look average next to each other. These guys with great swords look awesome. And they are awesome. And then this guy summons a ghost ship and kills half of them, and that's awesome. And then someone resurrects them, and that's awesome too. Somehow none of these things are made any less awesome by the presence or possibility of the others. Although the campaign is pretty terrible. Like, imagine someone made a version of chess where you can't see more than 2 spaces away from your pieces, and every turn takes an hour. Like in chess, both players know what the other person can do next turn, so no one ever fights a battle they know they'll lose. The whole game's easy for 20 hours, and then some queen that you couldn't see swoops in and takes your bishop, and if you reload those 3 turns you lose 3 hours of progress because every turn takes an hour because of all the battles. It's still an awesome game. Some things are worth putting up with flawed game design for. It's like Ringo in the Beatles. It's not good, but you put up with it because it's, you know, the Beatles. Total War Warhammer is everything that gamers say they want in games, in one game. You smush together dinosaurs and vampires, sieges and magic systems. You've got yourself a strategy game, my friend. And if you think you don't do strategy games, if you can't handle this game, maybe it's time to ask if you really wanted those things as much as you thought you did. The title of this game is Total War Warhammer. If we look at this mathematically, this title already contains twice as much war as most game titles with the word war in them. But consider that the war on the left side of the equation is not just war, but total war. That means that all 2 of the words on the left side of the ratio are effectively war. Then consider that the third game will be Total War Warhammer 3, so there are actually 3 wars on the right side of the ratio. That's a grand total of 5 wars in one game title, 5 times as much war as any normal war game. Do you have any idea how much war that is? Can you even imagine the totalness of the Warhammerness, the hammerness of the totalness, and the warness of the totality of the hammerness of the war? The Duke of Wellington once remarked that nothing except a battle lost could be quite so melancholy as a battle gained. But then the Duke of Wellington never had to watch the Royal Scots Dragoons raised from the dead and march back against him before exploding in a shower of pus. Total War Warhammer could therefore arguably be described as one of the greatest horrors ever devised by mankind. But, just in case it might have escaped you, it is not real. As global war recedes ever further from our collective memory, our visions of it become ever more fantastical, and the surrogates we devise become ever more elaborate. So what better monument to pacifism could there be than Total War Warhammer? The face of this Skaven hellpit abomination may appear hideous, but it is the face of a world that has forgotten what war is like. Perhaps it is the face of peace.